Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Coming at you via live stream with Rusty Cooper and Joel Futterman, Bruce Katz. There is a little delay, should be. If someone could give me a thumbs up when you're hearing us, Rabbi or Dan.
We've got you, loud and clear.
Yeah, you're good. I hear you.
Okay, here we go. Vishamru v'nei Yisroel el HaShabbat Na'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Vishamru v'nei Yisroel el HaShabbat Na'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Beni Uvein B'nei Yisroel Oti Le'olam Vishamru B'nei Yisroel El HaShabbat Na'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Vishamru v'nei Yisroel el HaShabbat Na'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Ki sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai et Hashemayim ve'et haaretz Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et HaShabbat La'asod et HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Vishamru v'nei Yisroel el HaShabbat La'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat Va'inafash Shabbat Va'inafash Vishamru v'nei Yisroel el HaShabbat Na'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam Vishamru v'nei Yisroel el HaShabbat Na'asod el HaShabbat L'Toratam Barit Olam.
Bruce, thank you. And the rest of the gang, thank you so much for sharing your love of music with all of us every Friday evening. It's a pleasure to have you introduce the service.
Thank you. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to our service this evening. It's so nice to welcome everyone and begin this service that I want to dedicate in the honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Zichrona Livracha, a dynamic leader of our country, and at the same time, welcome our Benot Mitzvah parents and family and extended family, and a special welcome to Rabbi Brian Stoller. We're so thrilled to have you join us this evening as a member of the Landgarten family, and we will look forward to hearing from you in a few minutes. So again, it's so nice to see everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our Zoom service this evening. This is Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So it in and of itself carries with it a significant amount of importance. And we recognize, if you will, the gravity of this time of year for everyone. So having received the beautiful introduction that our musicians just shared with us, we turn to our Kabbalat Shabbat service beginning on page 252. Yedid nefesh av harachaman mishoch avdecha eretzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo hayal yishtachavel mul hadarecha yerav lo yedidotecha minofei tzuv v'chol ta'am hadurnae ziv ha'olam nashicholat ahavatecha Ana el narefana la beharola no amzivach astit chazek v'tit rapeh v'hayitalach shivchat olam vatik emuna rachamecha v'chusanal ben wavecha ki ze kama nirsafti lirab tiferet uzecha ana eli machma libi chushana ve'atitalam Galena ufros chavivi alai etzukat shelomecha ata eret michvotecha nagila v'nismechavach maherachu kivamoed v'chaneni Ki me olam yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 yala la 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 la. And as we turn to page 254, our Kabbalat Shabbat service formally begins with the first psalm representing the first day of the week, Sunday, as we anticipate making the bridge between our work week and the beauty and wonder of Shabbat. We invite everyone to join together at the top of page 254. V'hu niranna l'Adonai nari alitzur yishenu nikad mafana b'toda בזמירות נריע לו. כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים, אשר בידו מקרי הארץ ותועפות ארי לו. אשר בידו מקרי הארץ ותועפות ארי לו. אשר לא יושב. ארבעים שנה כות בתור, והוא אמר רמתו לבבם בהם ליד דרכי, אשר נשבעתי באפי, אם ירובון אל מנוחתי. Yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la yalla la la la, yalla la 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 yalla la, yalla la 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 yalla la la la. Yalla la 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 yalla la 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 la, shiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai kushimo, basru miyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai u'olam me'od. נוראו הכל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, עוד ודע לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו, הבו לאדוני משפחות עמים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו. שאו מנחה ובואו לחצרותיו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ, אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, אף תיכון תבל בל תימות, יאללה לה לה יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה, יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה לה. Yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la 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 la. This Shabbat at Anshe Torah, we are very honored to celebrate two Benot Mitzvah this Shabbat. Ella Sadka will celebrate her bat mitzvah tomorrow morning, and our bat mitzvah will be Maren Landgarten tomorrow afternoon at a special mincha service. And so we are thrilled to extend a mazal tov to all the family and friends who have joined us for our service this evening, as well as to extend that mazal tov to our young ladies. And I would like to invite our bat mitzvah from the morning, Ella, to lead us reading responsively in English, Psalm 97. Actually, we won't do it responsively like we normally would do, but we'll invite Ella to read all of the verses. Again, page 257, Psalm 97.
When the Lord is king, the world rejoices. His throne is founded on justice. Though he be clouded from view, his justice reveals him. His lightning illuminates the globe. Fire consumes his foes. Mountains melt like wax in his presence. The earth trembles. The heavens proclaim his righteousness. All people behold his majesty. Shame covers those who worship images, who pride themselves on nothingness. Zion rejoices. The city of Judah are glad when they hear your judgments, Lord. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Those who love the Lord hate evil. He protects the faithful, saves them from the wicked. Light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Let the righteous rejoice in their Lord, praising his holy name.
Thank you so much, Ella. Ohav Adonai Sinura, Shomer Nafshot Chasidav, Miad Rishayim Yatzileim, Or Zaru Allah Tzadik, L'Shelev Simcha, Simchu Tzadikim Adonai, Vehodu Lezecher Kacho. And as we continue with Psalm 98, beginning on the bottom of page 257, again, I invite Maren to lead us reading through Psalm 98, our bat mitzvah of Shabbos afternoon.
The whole world has seen this triumph of our God. Let all on earth shout for joy, break into jubilant song. Sing praise to the Lord with harp. With triumphs and horns make a joyful noise. Let the sea roar and all its creatures, the world and its inhabitants. Let the rivers burst into applause. Let the mountains join in acclaim with joy. The Lord is coming to sustain the earth. He will sustain the earth with kindness, its people with graciousness.
Thank you so much. Yeramayamum lo tevel v'yoshveva nerot imcha uchav yachar harim yiraneinu livneranai kiva lishpot haaret yishpot tevel b'tzedek v'yamim b'mehesharim. Adonai malak yigzu hamim yoshev kruvinu haaretz Adonai b'tzion gadol v'ram hu kol hamim yodu shimcha gadol v'nura kadosh. Adonai Eloheinu atan nitam Enosei hayitalahem rokim alalilotam Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vishtakav lahar kacho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We continue with Psalm 29, page 260. Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod va'os, Havul Adonai kavod shemo, Yishtachavu l'Adonai b'harat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, Adonai Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Bakoach, Kol Adonai Behadar, Kol Adonai Shaver Arazim, Vaishaber Adonai Arzei Halvanon, Vayakidem Kemo Ekel Levanon Fisirion, Kemo ven elim, Kol Adonai chotze lahavot esh, Kol Adonai yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel layalot, vayechesov yarot, Ubhechalo kulo omer kavod Adonai lamabur yashav vayeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz le'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. And before we continue with Lechadodi, we pause in our service every Friday night since we have established our Zoom service in light of COVID. We recite a Misha Berach on Friday evening for the Cholim, all those across our world who are suffering, who are ill. And we encourage you to keep in mind those of your extended family and friends many names perhaps we don't have, but may we all share in the extended prayers that everyone who is ill, who is suffering now, will feel our support. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah Hu Yivarech V'Yirapeh Et Kol HaChulim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimeleh Rachamim Alehem Lahachazikam Rabutam Vishlach Lehem Mehera Refuah Shlema L'Chol Evrehem V'Gdehem B'Toch Shar Chol Yisrael Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf Shabbat Lizok Urfuvo Kravo Lavo Hashtabagalav Izman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. May he who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal Shoshana Chaya bat Chana, Howard Ebselet, Miriam Shana bat Devora, Ann Arnold, Sarah Fradel bat Chaya Miriam, Carl Billman, Lapidot bat Watya, Ruchel Sima bat Yankel, Ariella bat Aliyah, Avram Chaim ben Fegel Miral, Fivish David ben Sima Tova, Julia Goldberg, Vanya Chana Yaakova bat Fuma, Gila bat Riva Leah, Eliezer ben Chana, Guti Zitzel bat Levi Levi, Sandy Dworkin, Eliyahu ben Baruch, Reuven ben Tzvi Hirsch, Moshe ben Ruth, Esther Leah bat Nechama, Lori Khan, Shmuel ben Feivel, Yonah bat Rezel, Michael ben Leah Yetta, Bernard Yunel, Shulamit bat Surah Leah, Moshe David ben Miriam, Golda bat Chaya Rachel, David ben Fega, Yosef Reuven ben Miriam, George Cipriano, and Tzipit Zorach bat Fega. Again, we pray, may the Holy One in mercy strengthen each of them, heal them body and soul, together with all others who suffer illness. Together we say, Amen. As we turn back in our service to the Lechadodi prayer on page 262, Stuart, would you like to lead us this evening? Okay. We continue on page 262. Lechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor b'zachor b'di borecha rishmi anu elam yuchad Adonai echad. Ushmo echad l'shem u'tiferet b'li tchila lechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechuvenelcha ki mekor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila lechadodi likrakala B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Mikdash melech melucha kumitzi, mitoch hafecha rav lach shevet, v'yemek habacha v'hu yachamol, Allah yechem la lechadodi likrakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Idna are me afarku mi livshi bigde tifar techami aliyad benishai betalach mi korva el nashige ala lechadodi likrakala ene Shabbat hitorri kiva orech Kumi ori uri shir daberi kavod Adonai Allah yechnikla lechadodi likrakala B'nei Shabbat nekabela lo tevoshi v'lo tikomi matish tohachi umatemi bach yechesu ani eyami v'niv netach Irati la lechadodi likrakala B'nei Shabbat nekabela v'hayelim shisa shosayich v'racha kukol mivalayich yasisalayich Elohayich imsos vatan akala lechadodi lihikakala ne Shabbat ne Kabbalah yaminus moti frotziviet Adonai ta'aritzi al yadish ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila lechadodi lihikakala B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Boi v'shalom b'terecha gam b'simcha, U'tala tochemune am segula, Boi chala lechadodi likrakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lechadodi likrakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mizmor shir, liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor shir, liyom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Yizmer lev shincha elyon. Tzadikata amar Yifra, Ke'erez balvanon Yizke shetulim bevet Adonai Tzuri below Avlatabo. Adonai malaki lavesh lavesh, Adonai yosik tizarati kanti bal maltimo nachon. Mikolo ma'im rabim mahadiri mishpreya madir bamaram Adonai. Erotecha nenumeo levercha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamin. As we turn to page 268 and prepare to recite the mourner's Kaddish, we observe the following yahrzeits in our congregation this Shabbat. Martha Stoller, the grandmother of Stephanie Landgarten. Louise Freebrack, the mother of Joyce Garb. Morris Brown, the father-in-law of Sheila Brown. Dora Koharu, the mother of Zygmunt Koharu. Ryan Goldblatt, the nephew of Melissa Commissar. William Siebert, the son of Ann Siebert, the brother of Molly and Matthew Siebert. Ryan Goldblatt, the nephew of Matthew Wilpon. Hans Rosa Peiser, the father of Alan Peiser. Louis Arst, the grandfather of Phil Surek. Shirley Rosen, the mother of Sheila Stern and Janine Coble. Shirley Rosen, the grandmother of Sean Frank. Rose Edwards, the mother of Robert Edwards. Iris Wolfson, the mother of George Wolfson. Winston Heidenheimer, the father of Mark Heidenheimer. Morris Goldfinger, the father of Barbara Schwartz. Leonard Lewis, the stepfather of Ian Rosenberg. Abbott Ezrielov, brother of Janet Berenger, the uncle of Brad Berenger and uncle of Jamie Cohen. Rose Waits, the mother of Edward Waits, the grandmother of Lane Waits. Benjamin Aronovich, the father of Raphael Aronovich. Mary Nyman, the aunt of Janice Weinberg. David Rose, the brother of Julie Heyman. Rachel Futterman, the daughter of Tammy and Joel Futterman. Alfred Stern, the father of Larry Stern. Tom Sickle, the husband of Alice Goldberg. Fred Heyman, the father of Basil Heyman. Olga Aronovich, the mother of Raphael Aronovich. Robert Ross, the father of Beverly Ross. Ida Free, the mother of Joyce Schwartzberg. Solomon Goodman, the father of Carl Goodman. Neil Cohen, the grandmother of Marilyn Rothstein. Saul Katz, the father of Bruce Katz. Susan Schusterman, the wife of David Schusterman, the mother of Debbie Katz, the mother of Daniel and Doug Schusterman. Morris Chasnow, the father of Candy Weinberg, Esther Sally, the mother of Janice Weinberg, and Max Brustein, the son of Elizabeth Brustein. And again, we extend our most sincere expression of condolence to Laura Grossman, to Leah Greenberg, whose mother, Laura Grossman, just passed away, and to David Kane, whose father, Jerry Kane, passed away, and all who knew and loved Rabbi Jeffrey Lehner. May his memory and all those who have passed away always be a source of inspiration and support for all who knew and loved them. Together we say, Amen. There have been countless times that we have all realized over the course of the past 6 months, while dealing with the difficulties and the challenges and the hurdles of this pandemic, there are countless silver linings, countless blessings that we are compelled to acknowledge, to recognize, that have been presented to us. And certainly one of those has been the use of Zoom and the opportunity to include so many members of our extended family that otherwise would not be able to join us. And especially this evening, we have the special privilege of inviting Rabbi Brian Stoller, who is Stephanie Landgarten's first cousin, a rabbi at Temple Israel in Omaha, Nebraska, to share a Devar Torah with us this evening. Under normal circumstances, we probably wouldn't be able to do this, but indeed we are very fortunate. And I know that the extended Landgarten family and Stoller family are thrilled to be able to have this special blessing. So Rabbi Stoller, thank you for arranging your schedule to enable you to be with us this evening. And it's my pleasure to invite you to share a few words of Torah with all of us this evening.
Thank you, Rabbi Weinberg. This is such an honor and a privilege, and something that only can happen with Zoom, because of course tomorrow is Yom Kippur, or in a couple days anyway, and so it would have been difficult to travel to Dallas, but this has actually enabled me to be part of the service tonight, and I want to thank you for this honor. Ella, I want to wish you Mazel Tov, you and your family, on your becoming Bat Mitzvah. And Maren, Stephanie, and Mike, Mazel Tov. This is so exciting for me to get to visit your congregation virtually. Just one other note: I realized a few minutes ago in the chat that one of my fraternity brothers from the University of Texas is here too, past president Neil Rubenstein. So we just reconnected. Haven't seen each other in many years. So that's really exciting too, Neil and his wife Daphne, to see you guys. Our Torah portion this week, Ha'azinu, is the one we read every year on Shabbat Shuvah, this Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So it has messages in it that can be really helpful to us in doing teshuvah, that work of taking a close, hard look at who we are and making changes so that we can be better people and live more meaningful lives. After Moses makes one of his last big speeches to the Jewish community, God takes him aside and says, "See that mountain over there? The one overlooking the promised land? You know, the place you've been leading this rowdy group of people the last 40 years? Yeah, I see it," Moses said. "Good. Here's what I want you to do. Go climb to the top of the mountain and wait for me there. And then I'll get to go in?" Moses was excited. "No," said God. "I'm sorry to tell you, you aren't going into the promised land, Moses. You're going to die on the top of that mountain. This is the end of the road for you." How do you think Moses felt about this? For his life to end having come this far, so close to the finish line, and not to get to go in. I think that would be hard. More than hard, really. Jews have been arguing for generations about this. Some say Moses had to be devastated. Others say, no, Moses was ready. He'd done a lot in his life, and he was perfectly content. Which makes me wonder, is it ever possible to be perfectly content with your life? And even if it is perfect contentment something we should aspire to anyway? One of my favorite philosophers, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, wrote once that, and this is his quote, "Judaism teaches us to be content with what we have, but never with what we are." Let me say it again. Judaism teaches us to be content with what we have, but never with what we are. So when it comes to stuff, material things like money and clothes and cars and success, it's good to be content. Appreciate what we have and know when enough is enough instead of always wanting more. That's exactly how we should aim to be. But when it comes to the kind of people we are, our character traits and development, how we treat other people, Heschel says we should never be content. If we ever get to a point where we look at ourselves and say, you know, I think I'm good. I got this life thing. I don't need to change. Then that's a bad sign. It means we've taken ourselves out of the game. It's like George Costanza going out in sweatpants. It means we've just given up. See, the spiritual life is all about recognizing that no matter who we are at any given point, we can always, always be better. To be a spiritual person is to constantly feel that pull upward toward God and toward godliness. It's to recognize that although we know we'll never quite reach the ideal, we will never, ever stop trying to get there. Because we know in our heart and soul that the ongoing quest to be a better person is the whole purpose of life. Be content with what you have, but never with what you are. Our ability to do teshuvah depends on it. If we think everything about us is just fine, we won't have any motivation to change. Whatever flaws we have, and all of us have them, whatever things we've done wrong, and all of us have done them, if we feel no need to change, then not only will we fail to see our shortcomings, but we may actually misinterpret them as good qualities. For example, I'll tell you about me. One thing I know about myself is that I can be obstinate and argumentative. I've often thought of those things as good qualities. I'm good at debating, making strong arguments, pressing my point until people are convinced. And maybe they are good qualities, sometimes, in certain contexts. I might have made a good lawyer, but they're not always good qualities. In other contexts, and with certain people, my combativeness can be experienced as overbearing, suffocating, and off-putting, a pain in the tuchus. Both things can be true, depending on the circumstance. But if I'm too content with who I am, then I may be inclined to see only the good side of it. Or if I get some negative feedback about it, I'm likely to say, hey, that's just who I am. Deal with it. That's why Maimonides says that being open to receiving criticism is an essential piece in our ability to do teshuvah. Criticism can be hard to hear, of course. It can hurt. Sometimes the criticism we get from others cuts right to the core. So we'd rather just avoid it, or dismiss it, or fight back. But Maimonides says that if we're not willing to hear criticism and really pay attention to it and try to make some changes in response to it, then it's like we're putting a blockade right in the middle of the pathway to teshuvah. But if we can bring ourselves to accept criticism that's offered with good intention and genuine caring, then we can look at our critics not as enemies, but as angels, messengers of God, helping us to be better people. And it's like by the power of our humility, our vulnerability, and our genuine desire to move upward toward God, it's like we're causing the sea to split, clearing a path a mile wide for us to walk through toward the promised land. So I ask you, what criticism of yourself do you hear that you'd rather ignore? Does it bother you? And if so, why? If you could open yourself to actually hearing these critiques this year, what do you think you would do to address them? And would doing something about it help you grow upward toward God and become more godly? Like Moses, we may never reach the promised land, but that's okay. Because as we learn from Moses' life, the ultimate goal is not the contentment of reaching the end of the journey. The ultimate goal is the journey itself, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Shabbat Shalom and Gemar Chatima Tova. May you be sealed for goodness, health, love, and joy in the book of life.
Kol hakavod. Rabbi Stoller, thank you so very much for those inspiring words, especially on this Shabbat, as we all try to grapple with the reality that Moses' life is almost over. And we imagine ourselves in similar situations as we find our way making our way through Yom Kippur. And if I may, in a similar vein, ask all of those who are reciting the Mourner's Kaddish to please rise as we turn to page 268 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal.
Amen.
We invite everyone to please be seated. And it's now my pleasure to call upon Dan Cohn, our president, to share a few announcements with everyone.
Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. First of all, Mazel Tov to Ella Sadka and her family, and to Maren Landgarten and her family. We have our streaming morning service tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., the regular time. Of course, my dog chose this moment to bark with something going by. And we have Havdalah tomorrow night on Zoom at 8 p.m. So the morning service is our live stream on YouTube, and then Havdalah 8 p.m. Of course, the Landgarten family will be having their Havdalah service at the synagogue during that time as well. So as we're in the midst, obviously, of preparing for Yom Kippur, both spiritually, emotionally, hopefully everyone will be drinking lots of fluids on Sunday to prepare for the fast. I hope you will also take the time to watch the video that Rabbi Weinberg sent out this week, past couple days. And if you haven't had a chance yet to make your high holiday appeal pledge, please do that after Shabbat and before Yontiv. Sunday night, of course, is our Kol Nidre service starting at 6:45. And that is on the same platform that we used, obviously, for Rosh Hashanah. And then Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. for the regular service, and also the youth service, the K through 6. And then at 2 p.m. will be the early childhood family service. Of course, as soon as we're done with Yom Kippur, right around the corner, it's almost time for Sukkot. And I want to let everyone know, you'll hear more about it, that next Friday night, before Kabbalat Shabbat services, we're going to have some live music out at the Sukkah. and some sukkah decorating at that time. So we hope that you'll join us for that in person, and also Kabbalat Shabbat 6:30, the usual time, but we will have the service out there as well at the sukkah and on, I believe, on Zoom. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rabbi, for those who can't make it in person.
Yes.
And then we have Sukkot, of course, starting on Saturday. You'll hear more about those details Saturday and Sunday. And during the week the following week, we have something pretty much every night, I think every night of the week for Sukkot, lots of programming, something for everyone, and a lot of it in person at our sukkah. So I hope that you will join us for those events, and you can check the website, read your emails, and next you should be getting a columnette soon too that will have that the schedule for Sukkot right on the cover. So please check that out. And I will just close by saying Gemar Chatima Tova to everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Dan, so very much. We now invite Bruce to share a brief song with us before we bless our children.
Malach hagoel oti, Malach hagoel oti mikora, yivarech et haneharim, ikarev ahem shemi. Malach hagoel oti, Malach hagoel oti mikora, yivarech et haneharim, ikarev ahem shemi. O b'shem avotai, b'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak v'Yigularo, V'Yigularo b'kerev ha'arei. O b'shem avotai, b'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak v'Yigularo, V'Yigularo b'kerev ha'aretz. Shabbos, Gemar Chatima Tova to all.
Thank you, Bruce, and the same to you. As we extend a blessing to our children, to our young ladies, we say, Yisimech Elohim, K'sararit Karachel V'Leah. And to our boys, we say, Yisimcha Elohim, Ke'Ephraim V'Chi Menashe. To all of our children, we say, Yevarechecha Adonai V'Yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'Yichuneka, Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha, V'Yasem Lecha, Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May He cause His countenance to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift up His spirit unto each of you and grant you the greatest gift of all, the gift of Shalom. And now it's my pleasure to invite Carolyn Wilkov to lead us in the lighting of candles this evening, and then we will turn off our devices for all of Shabbat, or at least until the next service time, and say to everyone, Shabbat Shalom, and again, Gemar Chatima Tova. May everyone be inscribed and sealed in the book of life and blessing and peace. Thank you, Carolyn.
I think you need to unmute, Carolyn.
Shabbat shalom to everyone. Have a good, beautiful Shabbat. Mazal tov to our Benot Mitzvah families. Thank you, Carolyn. Have a beautiful Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom to you all.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We're dropping like flies.
Maren, you're so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Hi, Jerry. Shabbat shalom.
It's not so pretty.
Hey, Gene. How are you? Good.
That's so funny. That
Can't hear you, Jerry. You're muted, baby. Jerry, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Toby is here to say Shabbat Shalom also.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom,
shalom, everyone.
everybody.
Dan,
So
thank you. Shabbat shalom. Debbie,
Thanks, Rusty. You guys did great.
thank you. That was fun.
Big
Yeah, that
day
was-
tomorrow, Maren.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thanks.
Stephanie and Uncle Mike.
Birthday, Sophia.
Yes, happy birthday.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye now. You stop.
We're on.
Don't care.
Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Good job,
Good Shabbos.
Gotta go.
Shabbat shalom.